fun beer people from the community. Introduce yourself.
How you doing? My name is Mark Spivey. I'm a reporter with the Home News Tribune and Courier News in Central Jersey. And for the last 4.5 years, I've written Draft Picks, which is a weekly beer column covering everything about beer in New Jersey.
I'm Augie Carton. I have a small brewery in Atlantic Highlands called Carton Brewing, and that's really it.
Mike Proske. I own Tapastre. It's a tapas and craft beer bar in Central New Jersey.
You guys kept it much shorter than I did.
Well, you do more stuff.
Yeah,
You're far more important.
And
Well,
everybody,
you're right. You're right.
It's really been 4.5
nobody cares
years.
about me anyway, so I'll just pass it on to you guys.
Yeah.
Nah, but seriously, we're hanging out. We want to talk about beers today, and kind of go down the line here and talk about what's happening in the beer community, kind of in the greater New Jersey area. And recently, some changes have come into effect. A couple months ago, Augie, like when these new brewery laws came in, and how have those laws helped breweries out? How have you seen more visitors? What's been going on at the brewery itself?
It doesn't greatly affect Carton Brewing. I mean, I know it's been very good for the culture in the state and a lot of other places. Carton Brewing is in a very unique situation where we're actually in the middle of a town and not on the outside of it. And we happen to be directly across the street from an elementary school. So a lot of the liberties that have now been gotten, we don't take advantage of. Like, we don't sell pints of beer, we don't do that. What I like about it is we can now sell, we're draft only, as you guys all know, but people may not. But we can now sell you a sixtel, right? Under the old rule, what made me nuts is if you were our neighbor and you were cooking out in your backyard, and you wanted to walk down to our place, grab a 5-gallon jug of beer and a sixtel and go back to your house and keg it for your cookout, you couldn't do that. You had to go to our local liquor store, who we'd arrange the deal with, and we'd sell to them, and you'd buy it from them, and that was how it worked. But that always seemed very silly to me. But largely, we haven't changed much because we came before the law, and right before the law, we opened up in August 11, and this law passed basically August 12. So we opened up planning to follow the old rules, and that's our plan, and that's what we do. I know other people have taken advantage of it. I know it's been very good for. I know everybody likes it. It's not a lot for us. It's very good for the brew pubs. Like,
But you're able to sell now more growlers, and you don't have to just be limited to the 2
Right,
growlers.
we're not stuck at the 1 gallon of beer anymore.
Right.
We can serve more, but the truth is that people either buy, like I said, the sixtel's the unique thing. Like, people pretty much come in for 2 growlers, because it's a weekend's worth of beer, right? We're open Thursday through Sunday, and
Just
our
2.
hope is. I'll tell you, that they come in on Thursday night, grab 2. We see them Sunday morning, 2 more. That's the.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Yeah, you know what
Now
I mean?
we're talking.
That's how it works, and it's. I don't know. I love it, but yeah, our tasting room hasn't been greatly affected. A lot have though. It's a step in the right direction.
Sure.
Jersey needs to get better about people just having fun.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, is having fun and drinking beer. I bet you're probably seeing more people come into the bar because of this.
Well, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, just with the expansion of craft beer over the last couple of years, it's been a phenomenal increase in numbers. I've actually done better now that I've switched to strictly craft beer. I don't even offer anything else, and I've seen over a 700% increase in beer sales. So
That's great.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's a great indicator for the market. So
I read a great statistic somewhere. I can't remember what it was, but one of America's busiest, like roadhouse bars down south, took, I believe it was Miller Lite, but it was one of the big silly beers off draft, and got to cut their bouncing staff by about $200,000 a year because that many less fights were happening.
I believe it.
And I was just like, that's just so funny to me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they put in much higher alcohol beers, right? When you lose those beers, you end up, you go from 4 to 5 to 6 to 7, and they're having that many less fights by taking aggro water beer out.
And I feel like when I was in college, 10 years ago, you didn't see that. You didn't see what you described. Like, you go to places, maybe they have Magic Hat, Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, but they'd still have the Miller Lights of the world. There was nowhere that only did craft. Now you see a bunch
there
of
was
places.
one
that
bar
just
where
do
I went to
craft.
college that had all craft beer, and they still do.
Mhm.
And
Where was that?
Andy's.
Okay.
And they still do, and you still go in there.
Andy's is
Andy's a great bar in North Jersey, and it's just a very, it's an interesting concept. Up there, they, in North Jersey and Bergen County specifically, they have a lot of beer bars, there's a lot of concentration there, so a lot of them can do that, but other places can't. However, that's our goal.
Yeah,
That is our goal.
But one of the best parts of opening Carton, it's no matter how, like, Jersey's Jersey and we're all Jersey, but where we are in Jersey, which is, on the north end of the shore, you get kind of this philosophy that all of Jersey's an hour away, you can get anywhere you want to go, and blah, 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 and everything's fine. And we self-distribute, so we started meeting all these people, and you find these awesome bars. Places like Andy's, there's a million of them out there that are Cloverleaf, another, Conrad. Some of them are 5 years old. Some of them are literally 70 years old and just awesome. And because some guy said to you, if you make craft beer, you should go to find this bar, and then you find Andy's, and you're like, this has been here
20-something
forever,
years. It's
forever.
not even on the corner, and it used to be.
But
Like,
I love discovering those places. Like, every time I get to go to one of those places, not these places that are treating it like it's it's the current martini, but places that are like, look, it's good beer, just drink it, have a good time, have 3 or 4, see you later. Like, those are the perfect bars, and yours is great. I love your place. But you know what I mean? Like you find Andy's in the middle of how do I have to say it?
Pagoda.
Yeah,
and the opposite
It's
of
not
the...
Bogota?
It's not Bogota.
No,
I thought it was Bogota.
No.
Stop! Literally, you're gonna get killed.
I apologize to the good residents of
Pagoda people take it very seriously. A young girl, a young lady I went to college with is from that neighborhood and had tended a bar at Andy's when she was in college. When she was out of college, and we've become friends because she moved down to our area and loves the beer. But I didn't see her in 20 years, and not only does she, steer me towards Andy's and say great things about it, but Gina gets furious if I say it wrong.
Yeah, you can't.
And I try to say it right, and it's still it's
difficult.
But listen, I'm from Tom's River. All right, take it easy on me. I meant no disrespect. Don't show up at my doorstep with torches.
Very seriously. It is. It's not even Pagoda. It's
Pagoda.
We're probably still saying it wrong. Let's just change the subject.
Yeah, let's let it go.
Richfield Park.
We're making people angry.
Where's our flag? You didn't even flag it.
Did anybody curse?
No.
Not yet, anyway.
So what are we drinking?
Right now, 3 of us are on Excavation, and 1 of us is on Monkey Chase the Weasel.
Excavation's a special beer that Augie brought today from directly from the brewery.
Well, so Carton Brewing, you guys know it, but philosophically I think of many things as kind of per restaurant perspective, right? I think when we're creating beers, any of us, you're creating flavors is what you're doing, and you're essentially, for me it's a frame of mind that everybody understands a little better. So for us it's the menu, the specials, and then the catering, right? So the menu are the 5 beers we make all the time that are always going to be there for you that cover the 5 important things I think you need, which are our session beer, our double IPA beer, our session stout, our food beer, and our mid-range spicy hop beer. And then the specials are, right now it's Monkey Chase the Weasel, so we made a batch of that, and it's a Mulberry Berliner, and then the catering are specific to each restaurant, so we only sell them to those restaurants. So I was like going to bring them to things like this because you may not get them, you may not get to the restaurants. But Excavation we make for a group of restaurants in New York called Lil Wisco. They're 5 varied restaurants. Well, there's 6 restaurants, but 5 have beer. And they're decidedly American, great little space restaurants. And each one has its own thing, so we're looking to do something that would handle variations on what is the American melting pot cuisine. So Wisco's a red cream ale. They're Wisconsin, where Carton milk made sense, red made sense. And we used a hop that we were all discussing as a hop aiming to please everybody at the party, the party girl hop of the Century Mosaic, and a couple other
Affectionately known as
the sluttiest hop in the world.
And we put a description was tamed down quite a bit.
Well, all right, so it's absolutely the sluttiest hop in the world, and it wants to make everybody happy. And it's so we put it in the middle of the boil so the aromas wouldn't kill food flavors, but so that it would be American and you would know you were drinking an American hop beer.
It's a beautiful color.
That's what we're
Really, it's nice.
I'm super
Creamy.
psyched about it.
Aside from the maybe a tippy batch or 2, I think I have actually had every single beer Carton has made commercially. And honestly, this is in my top 5. It might be in my top 3. I love it. I think it's great. So.
You say that because it's going to be hard for you to get.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping you'll hook me up.
If I put it on tap and you're a tiny bag, it's a good one. Let's have more boats.
Well, feel free to put it on tap in his
Yeah, exactly. I'm a little upset that it's mostly going to be in New York. I'm not going to lie. So.
It'll be at the brewery, and it comes to events. The deal we make with these restaurants, so we do one called Canyon for Copper Canyon in Highlands. We do the Wit Whale for Movies and Bars in Highlands, and we do Excavation for this group. And the deal we make with them is that, it's theirs, and we'll take it to events because we like to show it off. And it's, we brought it last night to the Sterling Hotel, and I had it with their hanger steak, and it did its job, and I got to be proud of that.
Sixtals available? Or?
At the brewery, yeah.
Yeah, really? All right, I'm happy.
Now, do you see new people coming in, daily, weekly, or just new faces in general at the brewery, at the restaurants? Do you guys see new people coming through, based for the beer specifically, or just because they heard about you through, I don't know, random website like New Jersey Craft Beer or Beer Advocate or something like that? But
I would say
or a lot of repeats. What's been going
on?
on?
We're lucky with you because we're New Jersey and you keep us up, but we don't really pay the attention to send out press releases and all that. So we're not,
I have to go after you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Beer Advocate doesn't know good stuff about us. Not that they're they're there, they like us, and they review us, but it's not our thing. Like we're too small to look for attention. All the beer we can make, we can sell, so we don't need people to come with us. I'd say on an average weekend, the 15 hours are open Thursday, Friday night, Saturday, Sunday day. 2.5, 5. I'd say we see about 35% repeat neighborhood Monmouth County people.
Cool.
And then I'd say the rest are either, there's a whole group we see every Thanksgiving weekend. You know what I mean? And I guess that's regular because that's when you're home.
Sure.
But we had a couple come from Massachusetts to Atlantic Islands to drink beer because they heard about boat. And we don't distribute past
Pagoda.
We're not much past
Pagoda,
and even more, we're definitely not north of 23rd Street in Manhattan. So,
hey, on Beer Advocate's trading forums over the last 6 months, I have started to see people seeking out carts for trades, which I didn't see before. So I think that's kind of neat.
To me, that's definitely flattering and cool, but we're still only draft.
I'm from New Jersey and I'm proud about it.
We were on the battleship last weekend talking to everybody, and they were just so pumped to see this movement and to see, sitting there talking to Chris from Uno's, and he's doing another Cast Fest this summer.
How many do they do a year? It seems
They're
like
doing
it's like
3 or 4 now,
It's
at
amazing.
least. Yeah, it's
But
great.
the battleship was fantastic.
Yeah, it's a great event.
The battleship
That's the Garden State Craft Brewers Guild Festival, by the way.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
that's
so-
what
so-
we're talking about. So.
Exactly. On the Battleship, New Jersey, the Craft Brewers Guild. So it's everybody that actually brews beer, right? It's
Brew
not,
pubs and breweries.
It's not
and
the contract brewers.
Yeah.
It's not the other guys, but it's the what are called production breweries and brew pubs all together. And I'd be lying if I said when my partner Chris and I started talking about opening Carton Brewing 5 years ago, it wasn't because we had trouble finding New Jersey beers and we had trouble liking them when we found them, and therefore we thought there was a market to enter. But I walked around everybody's table at the thing and tasted everybody's beer, and some of them were fantastic, but all of them were great, and everybody made good beer, and it was just such a great feeling, right? A couple of us had collaborated on that one. We remade an IPA, where we kind of
So delicious.
I would call it more we riffed on an IPA by Ballantine, which is an old New Jersey brewery.
Look up, you might see some Valentine
New
pairs.
Jersey IPA. What I love best about the story is so the definitive American flavor, right? Well, the beer we're all remaking in this IPA trend is Sierra Nevada's Pale.
Yep.
Sierra Nevada's Pale uses Ballantine's IPA yeast. So our brewery, our actual brewery in the 40s was a distribution site for the Fegan-Span brewery of Newark, which becomes Ballantine. Ta-da. What I'm saying is, so that yeast was in our brewery in 1942, and then, everything happens while I was away. Sierra makes Sierra. We reopened. We actually used Sierra's Chico yeast in 077 for our double IPA, and we're all the way back to the circle. So when we talked about this collaboration, but so three of the brew pubs and Mike Kane and I got together.
So it was King, Carton, Trap Rock, Harvest Moon, and
Uno.
Yes.
And we just brewed on our little tippy. We made 2 sixths of this thing, and it was fun and it was cool. And it was a neat beer.
Yeah, it's delicious.
But so I started with that one. Then I had our beers, and I had Mike's beers, and I know our beers and I know Mike's beers, and I love them. And then I walked around to these places that are hard to get to, like Cape May, and Tuckahoe, and Turtlestone, and everybody made good beer. There were 22 people there, and all the beer was good, and that's something to be so proud of.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, everyone has everyone has a different style. Everyone has a different flavor. Like, when we talk about Turtlestone, their beers are made with lots of additives, but not what you're thinking. Not rice and corn. It's made with green tea and honey and lavender and just beautiful things. Tuckahoe has this a beautiful. It's my favorite smoked porter in the world. I love it. It's like this deep, rich smoked porter that's perfect for barbecue. And I mean, everyone has their own little flavor. And we have a couple beers also to drink from Harvest Moon.
Yes, we do.
And
there you go. Yeah, when I tried that collaboration IPA, as soon as I had it, I said to myself, I got to go around and congratulate each of the 5 guys that helped make this. And I got a great reaction from Charlie at Trap Rock. I went up to him and said, listen, I loved it. He's like, yeah, it was good. But you know what? We got to get together. We got to brew more batches. We got to keep perfecting it, keep refining it. I'm like, hey, if you want to do that, please, by all means, we would love it. So.
If any of you are hardcore beer geeks like me, go to Trap Rock, get Charlie's ear to talk beer.
Try everything there.
He loves it. Man.
He really does.
He's actually. So what we're doing is he and I have made a plan where he's going to buy a kind of neutral wine cask of some kind. Because another factor of this Valentine thing was they had these massive wooden tank farm in the basement of Valentine, and the IPA was in the vats for a year and then dosed with this hop elixir of bouillon they had. So basically, he's going to buy a barrel. We're going to park it at our brewery. We're going to make that beer again and throw it into that barrel for a year. And then, in the meantime, I'm going to reach out to IFF or all these weird fragrance, people that are all around New Jersey, and give them bouillon hops and see if they can't somehow, let me use their roto evaporator or something to make an extract that we can add to the beer coming out of the wood for next year's battleship.
Yeah, I mean, some of my.
But that's where he takes it, right? I knew I wanted to do that. I just wasn't going to commit. I'm trying to write, I'm trying to do all this. And
make
make
a double batch of that one.
Charlie came right over the top with, here's what we're doing, here's how we're doing it. I was like, okay, buddy, I'm in.
One of my favorite things is when some of my favorite breweries decide to collaborate on a beer. So when I heard that 5 of my favorite New Jersey were doing it, I'm like, you got to be kidding me. That's great news.
And I love recently, we've been working with Uno in Chris over at Uno in Metuchen, and for their Cast Fest, they have you guys are on, and Kane's on, as well as Bolera's on, and they're going to have a Climax on, and do very, casks, pretty standard stuff, and, other things on cask, I think. And then what we do is we kind of crowdsource, and we ask our readers what they want to do. So Chris and I from Uno talk about it. Hey, what do you want to throw in this Saison? So we put it out there, and he came up with wacky ideas. I came up with wacky ideas, and we throw it out there, and we say, what do you guys want? We let the voters pick. And now we're making a pink peppercorn and Szechuan pepper Saison. So that will be available on Saturday at the, or you might not see this till after, but
this will have been available.
This will have been available along with, I think you're going to have.
But I think you're on a fun track there. So Saison is funny. I tend not to like obvious flavors, like that our double IPA is super integrated. Saison and Belgians are 2 of the ones that the yeasts have these very obvious, banana clove.
Yeah.
That's just to them, and I get that it's fun to find it, associate it, and know it, but I think it dominates and isn't necessarily fun, so I avoid those things. But at some point, and we just did that collaboration with Barrier where we did the cherry blossom, hibiscus, pink peppercorn.
Yeah, we had that at Blind Tiger before Savor.
Yeah, very nice.
But what I found is pepper's the right thing. Somehow the Saison yeast, the people that enhance it and try to make it more Saison-y, especially the Belgian. I like the French better, but the Belgian yeast make what are beers that I find interesting but get bored with quickly. Whereas when you do counter that spicy part of the clovey part of that Saison yeast with a pepper, all of a sudden I think people. All of a sudden, she's got
My wife is just off camera and she's out of beer, so
She's got the
we
little
need to
pouty
get her
look
something
on her
in it.
face.
So, yeah.
Here.
We're gonna switch to another
She's
beer.
also wearing a shirt that says "This guy needs a beer," so it's pretty great.
But
Okay,
we'll
back.
make sure to introduce her before it's
Sure,
over.
yeah.
But anyway, but that's what I'm saying. So I just think the pepper's the right path. Like I
Yeah.
think your crowdsourcing work is what you can counter that yeast with always becomes to me a very neat beer. I mean,
Yeah,
If we're talking saisons and peppers too, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Heather DeGroot, the winner of last
Yeah.
year's Queen of Hops.
Yeah,
Her jalapeno saison was one of the best homebrew beers I've ever had.
Yeah, it was delicious.
It's incredible. So
It's pretty good. But let's take a little break,
sure.
and then we're gonna come back with some more beers and some other stuff. So
Cheers.
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 yeah, that's nuts.
How's business been over by you guys? What's new over at Tapastre?
Well, we're constantly
Aside from
getting
the,
in a bunch of
the
crazy
huge
beers.
increase recently.
Yeah. Well, I just got in a keg of Monkey Chase the Weasel, so we'll be tapping that soon.
Steal this.
I got a bunch of good stuff on right now, so like I said, it's constantly changing. So there's always something new, always something good.
How many taps do you have? You have a good number.
Right now I have 12,
Right.
and they're always constantly rotating.
But see,
so.
that's for me. I think I think the right number is 18-ish.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind getting a few more.
You know, but I feel like if anybody ever came to me for advice, and nobody ever would, but if they did, I would say, get the 18 taps and the storage of a place that has 50.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah,
just
exactly.
have cool stuff so that, like,
Look at Coppermine, 20 taps. Andy's
Yeah.
20 taps. Cloverleaf, 20 something.
Yeah, that's
Just
right,
around
right
20
around there.
taps.
And
You don't
then-
want to get too
yeah.
many.
and if you can
really
store the beers, like, Andy's is a
Poorhouse.
great example. But
Yep.
so the Blind Tiger in the City, which is one of my favorite
20
places.
taps.
I walked in there.
Yeah.
I walked in there
don't.
on
I think it's
June.
24, 28.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I walked in there on June 25th last year, and they were doing their Christmas in June, and they just saved because they could
Yeah.
because they had the storage and not 50 taps they need to keep working. They saved all the Christmas beers and put them on for one night in Sixels.
It's pretty cool.
And I had a Sierra Nevada's Celebration, which is a beautiful beer, and you always rush it because you're afraid it's going to go bad.
Yeah.
And they had a 6-month, perfectly aged in good condition Sixel. They threw it on, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. And if you have 18 taps in the storage for 50 instead of 50 taps in the storage for 50, you can do that.
Yeah.
And Mike,
And neat stuff happens.
give me an example. What's on tap right now for you guys? You always
Yeah.
have a great spread, great variety. of stuff.
Actually, I have Cane's Overhead
Yeah.
on tap right now. They're
Awesome
double
beer.
IPA. Yep. I have, let's see, I've got.
This is a problem. They change so fast.
Yeah.
When I left, we had.
I tapped 4 new ones
Today?
yesterday.
Oh, really?
so,
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that's what I kind of like best about that place is that you never see the same beer twice in a row. It's
Yeah.
always changing every couple days.
Yeah.
Like I've never had a place that I have to look at beer menus at more than your place.
It really does rotate quite a bit.
Yeah,
but
it's
I
really
think-
hard for me to keep up with it when I'm trying to post articles. I'm like,
Yeah.
tap this real
Yeah.
quick. If I see it on Twitter, of
And-
course, I'm going to retweet it, and
thank
it just
God you
moves.
update
It's
beer
great.
menus, otherwise
It's beautiful.
Oh, yeah,
I'd never
exactly.
know.
I
Yeah.
stay on top of that,
Yeah.
absolutely, because it lets everybody know.
And
Yeah,
that's a
without
good
a
goal.
doubt.
If more people
Really
use it,
good.
that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
That's beermenus.com, by the way.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
For
Free
those of you
plug.
wondering what the hell we're talking about.
Or if you're in the Philly market, Philly Tap Finder. Sorry, I had to.
another really
throw
good.
out
Well,
to
that's another, they're
you know,
very good.
They're great. I mean, there's a couple of Jersey places on there, but also in Philly too.
The beers you can expect to see next, our harvest beer. So last year we did our harvest beer. I don't think you had our harvest beer last year, but
That
our
was
harvest beer
fantastic.
we do a wet hop, just some wet hop. We get it overnighted from wherever, and then we do last year's hop is whole cone dry hopping.
Okay.
So last year it was Amarillo dry cones in the dry hop and Citra wet in the wet hop. And it's a rye, 6% pale kind of base beer. This year it's going to be Mosaic, the world's sluttiest hop.
There we go. Nice.
Wet.
I like it.
And,
Wet slutty hop.
Yep.
Wet.
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna-
Here we
it's gonna
go.
be
Can't
wet
go wrong.
Mosaic.
Yep.
And,
We're far enough along into this we can go a little more R-rated than we did before, I guess.
Exactly.
The kids are in bed.
Are you going
now.
to say the F word?
I might.
You
Yeah.
might say the word.
but,
Yeah.
That's the other one.
But so there'll be wet Mosaic and then dry Citra,
Mhm.
dry whole cone Citra.
Yeah.
So that'll be harvest. We do pumpkins like
The cream ale,
the
right?
definitive
Pumpkin
Carton
cream
beer.
beer. Oh my God, what a beautiful, interesting beer.
Yeah,
Thank
it
you.
was.
Thank you very much.
But I like the thought of that, the seasonal one-offs that you can look forward to.
Yeah,
coming around again. That's great.
but some of them will change. Like, so Mezzo was an experiment. It was fun. It was cool. But sours are, Jesse, Jeremy, Chris, and I love sour, so we're screwing around with them. So those will be the ones that get pulled out.
Maybe cut some of that stuff out of Jeremy's beard.
Yeah, definitely. Coma free.
I think Rogue already
But,
did that, right?
but
Yeah,
basically,
I think so, yeah.
Jeremy and I right now are working on a cherry lime Ricky sour.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that'll be next year.
Love the sound of it.
That'll come in the Mezzo place next year.
What will it smell like?
Monkey Stays.
Like Jeremy.
Like Jeremy. There we go. It'll smell wonderful. Then,
Yeah.
so.
So like patchouli.
Total hippie.
But and then the anniversary beer will obviously change every year because that's what we do. But we're not doing a bigger boat this year. We're doing something like Sandy, which is a recreation of Sour Sandy.
As much as I wish you would do a bigger boat again.
Bigger boat was
that was fantastic.
It's a
beautiful beer,
pretty
but-
safe. It's a pretty safe bet. The 2014 will be a bigger boat.
Okay, all right.
You know,
Something to look forward to a year and a half from now.
We're looking at it.
Well, why don't we switch over to some more beers, and we'll take another few minute
Take a quick break.
and cheers. Come back in a few minutes.
Here's to you, boys. So we're gonna wrap it up. Let's talk about. So we've hatched an evil plan, where we're gonna get together at Tapastre, and I am going to cook wings with the new chef, to be revealed later.
In draft.
And we're gonna bring 4 or 5 beers along, and we're gonna look for stuff that'll be fun to pair with the wings. And we will make that happen, and it'll be. I'm guessing it'll be an August Sunday.
All right, Twitter. Before we forget, because I know we're gonna forget.
So Twitter.
We'll start from
Start.
here we
Twitter.
go.
Twitter. It's at Tapastre. It's spelled Tapastre.
And you're on Facebook as well?
Yeah, Facebook, beermenus.com, all that. We got everything.
At Carton Brewing, and Carton Brewing on Facebook, and cartonbrewing.com.
On Twitter, I'm at DraftPicks with an underscore at the end, which enraged me to no end when I found out someone already had the just DraftPicks.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's brutal.
We can
back
fight
to you
them.
for a thousand
Yeah,
Let's
bucks.
fight them for
Yeah,
it.
let's find
Where do they live?
I'll give it back.
They live in New Jersey. It's on.
Listen, all right, really.
It's Augie the whole time.
I'll give it back to you for $1,000.
And did you take it? Here we
Just
go.
say.
All right,
Let's see.
turn the camera off. And on Untapped as well at DraftPicks33. Anyway, your Twitter is?
My Twitter is
way off
MJ
track.
Craft Beer, and so on
Easy to
same on
remember.
Facebook and website at times. So thanks for
Cheers,
coming on.
everybody.
Yeah.
Cheers and
Cheers.
enjoy.
Browsing New Jersey, brother Jersey is like no other. I'm glad that's where I'm from.
I liked the
And I love it.
mosaic overhead better than Head Eye.
Here's the
was
thing about
just
Mosaic, though.
incredible.
Mosaic is the sluttiest hop.
It is.
in the
It
world.
is. It's okay though.
Mosaic wants to make everybody at the party happy.
That's fine.
Mosaic isn't trying to be in any way fit. You don't have to buy. You don't have to buy Mosaic a drink.